one for the money, and two for the show. Three to get ready. Well, go cat, go set them on my blue suede shoe. They'll do anything but get off my blue suede shoes.
$1 Million Quartet, the story, it's actually an event that actually happened. December 4th, 1956. Carl Perkins, who's my character, had a recording session. In that session, Sam Phillips decided, you know what, we maybe need to flesh the sound out a little bit more. Let's hire a piano player. Just so happened to be a 19-year-old Jerry Lee Lewis.
Elvis called and said, I'm in town, Mr. Phillips. I want to come see you. Elvis had been sold. He was a big deal. He was the biggest thing in the world. He came down, brought some whiskey. Sam called Johnny Cash, said, hey, Elvis is in town. I want you to get all together. And Johnny Cash, okay, so he shows up.
I mean, it's four guys who have had sort of unmeasurable impact on pop culture. And at one point in time, they were all in a room together just playing music that they enjoyed.
They jammed and partied all night and told stories, and that's the original event, and we've kind of turned it and made it more dramatic, but it's kind of the night these four legends kind of came together.
It was a glorified jam session, but what we end up looking at with $1 Million Quartet is an intimate look into the vision that Sam Phillips had, not only for rock and roll in general, and that we know how that affects pop culture even today, but how he shaped each individual guy and the relationships that he had, and how it was sort of like a family. Here's these four brothers that looked up to this mentor.
Sam was the only one who would take a chance on Elvis. And he was the only one who would take a chance on Jerry Lee Lewis or Johnny Cash. You know, these other record companies would have never signed them because their sound was so different and not what was mainstream at the time. And so, you know, who knows what would have happened if Sam Phillips doesn't discover Elvis, then there would be no Elvis. And if there was no Elvis, would there be any Beatles or would there be any, you know?
You really come away with a sense of what went into rock and roll at the moment of creation. You know, you really get a sense of the kind of story behind the songs, the story behind the music.
What we're trying to create is a little fly on the wall situation. Not everybody gets to hang out in a recording studio and see how musicians interact with each other, and that's what we do here. That's what happens in the show. And then, you know, you can't go wrong with the material.
You know, blue suede shoes and Matchbox and things like that. And then, you know, Jerry Lee Lewis, you can't really get away from that.
Great Balls of Fire, A Whole Lot of Shakin', Hound Dog, My Babe, See You Later, Alligator, Folsom Prison Blues, I Walk the Line, Fever, that's mine.
It's like every song you can think of from that time period.
We've got songs that are actually from the recording of that night. In addition to it, the cool thing is we've added songs that kind of mark monumental career moments in the four guys, so that it continues to tell the story of how these individual guys found who they were.
Every actor will tell you they want to be a rock star. Every actor wants to be a rock star, and every rock star wants to be an actor. So it's great to just have the guitar up there and play, and to know that we are it. I mean, the performance is what you see on stage. There's no track, no backup, no nothing.
I've been in tons of bands, you know, right? And this is among the favorite bands I've ever been in, and it just so happens to be that this band is part of a Broadway show. So it's a lot of fun. Everybody brings so much fire and intensity and a lot of talent.
It really is true to what was written and how it was performed by these guys. And I think that's what's great about the show, because it has this raw energy and it's just this raw musicianship that's real. And it's not processed or, you know, glitzed up or anything. It is what it is. It's rock and roll, and that's what's really exciting about it.
You know, it's different from having the pit, you know, singers sing on stage and having the band underneath the stage or in upstairs somewhere. I mean, it's the music is live and right there and present, and I think that's a different experience than what most people are used to.
The meat is on the stove, the bread is getting hot. Everybody come and taste the food.
It's not just that these four famous people were in a room on this one night, for this one night only, but it's that it was the beginning of it. I think that's part of what makes it so thrilling.
My advice is to come at it as a rock and roll show, unless as a as a traditional Broadway show, we won't think you're rude if you stand up and get involved.
Stomp your feet, by all means. Stomp your feet, clap your hands. It's that kind of music.
If they're not dancing by the end of this show, they're dead. And I don't mean like I'm going to kill them. I mean they have died during the show, because it's a fantastic. It's energetic, and it'll amaze you, and it'll make you go, oh, all at the same time.